I want to set the record straight on nursing homes for a number of reasons, primarily for the families of nursing home people. We created a void by not producing enough public information fast enough. People wanted information. We did not produce public information fast enough. That creates a void. What happens in a void, especially today in this environment, in this toxic political environment? Something fills the void. And conspiracy theories and politics and rumors fill the void. And you can't allow inaccurate information to go unanswered. Twitter bogus reports become a reality at one point. Social media, 24-hour news stations, if you don't correct it, it gets repeated, and it gets repeated, and it gets repeated, and then people think it's true. It's a very difficult environment to operate in. We created the void by not producing enough public information quickly enough. I get that. But then it was exploited with misinformation, people playing politics, Republicans playing politics, personal attacks, personal agendas. And now this continues and people get confused. And people who lost family members in nursing homes start to say, I wonder if this is true. I wonder if my father died because somebody made a mistake. I wonder if my father had to die. Those false statements must be countered. They must be, or else people get confused. No one has a right to spread lies or misinformation that causes pain to families. I understand politics is a nasty business in this environment. I understand people lie. I get it. I get it. I live it every day. But this is different. This was causing pain to families who lost a loved one. That's what they did. And they did it because I hear it from the families. Not only did we create a void, we didn't fight back against the lies and the politics and the distortions aggressively enough. In retrospect, that is true. It is whack-a-mole. It is that Twitter 24 hours a day. It is politicians making up stuff to get their face on TV. I get it. But you have to knock it down and counter it aggressively. Otherwise, people will believe it. And here, the people who were listening to it were people who were in pain and looking for answers. I was not aggressive enough in knocking down the falsity. We were busy, we were doing our job, we're trying to save lives, no excuses. I was not aggressive enough in knocking down the falsities. I heard them, I saw them, I dismissed it as politics, I dismissed it as personal agendas, I dismissed it as partisan politics, which is at a fever pitch nowadays. But I should have been more aggressive in calling it out, because it wasn't hurting me. It hurt the families who had questions about loved ones. And that was a mistake, and I make no excuses for that mistake. It is an affront to truth to treat falsehood with compliance. It is an affront to truth to treat falsehood with compliance. Compliance spelled the way Thomas Paine spelled. Who am I to criticize his spelling, different spelling? I did not aggressively enough, we did not aggressively enough take on the misinformation that caused people pain. And it caused pain for grieving families. And that's what I regret. I'm not going to make that mistake again. If you're lying to the people of the state of New York, I'm going to call it out. If you are lying in a report, I'm going to call it out. If you're lying in a newspaper because you have your own partisan agenda, I'm going to call it out. I said to the people of the state of New York when I was first elected, I'm here to fight for you. That's my job. I was elected Attorney General. I said, I will represent you. I will fight for you. And I will fight as hard as I can for you. Fighting for the people of New York is fighting for the truth for New Yorkers. I'm not going to let New Yorkers be lied to. I'm not going to let you hurt New Yorkers by lying about what happened surrounding the death of a loved one. I see that as my job, and I'm going to do it aggressively, because you have no right to lie, and you have no right to hurt people. I don't care if it's your politics. You can't lie and cause pain to people who are innocent bystanders to all of this. So I'm going to take on the lies and the unscrupulous actors, especially when they cause pain and damage to New Yorkers. I should have done it before, and I should have done it more aggressively. There are facts. There are facts. And I've gone all through this terrible situation with the facts. And there are facts that I want nursing home families to know specifically, because I think the facts will help resolve questions about how a loved one died. Remember what happened here. Loved one died in a hospital, in a nursing home. You didn't even get a chance to see them. You didn't get a chance to talk to them. Being in a nurse, having a person in a nursing home is a terrible situation to begin with, that they need a level of care that you can't provide. And then you can't visit, you can't talk, and then you know that there's COVID in nursing homes, and they're vulnerable, and there's nothing you can do, the powerlessness that you have. And then they died. And you don't even have closure. There was no goodbye. There's no funeral. There's no hug. There's no kiss. I mean, it was a horrendous situation. It is a horrendous situation. You want to talk about the spring? 116 people died yesterday. 100 people will die today. This is a horrendous situation. But I want you to have the facts, because I don't want you to have more pain from this noise. All the information that the state put out about all the deaths, hospital deaths and nursing home deaths, from day one. This is how many people died in hospitals. This is how many people died in nursing homes. Total deaths, the same number. Well, how many people died in a nursing home but were first in a hospital? How many people died in a hospital but who were first in a nursing home? How many people do you presume died after they left the hospital? How many people do you presume died after a nursing home? I understand many questions, but this information of total deaths was provided always. We get a request from the Department of Justice in August. With other Democratic governors only, by the way. Nursing home deaths happen nationwide. Democratic states, Republican states. We get a request letter from the Department of Justice, same day, just Democratic governors. Okay, I guess that was coincidental. I guess that wasn't political by the Trump Justice Department. We provided the Department of Justice with truthful information in our response. It is a lie to say any numbers were inaccurate. That is a lie. Total deaths were always reported to nursing homes and hospitals. New York State legislators requested information. Yes, they did. We said we would pause the state legislature's request because we gave DOJ precedence. True. We paused the state request, and we told them that we paused the state request. They were told, and they knew, and we gave DOJ precedence. Yes, because that's how it works. Federal DOJ gets precedence. Well, some were offended that they weren't given precedence. I understand they are offended. DOJ takes precedence. I'm the former Attorney General, a former Assistant District Attorney, former Cabinet Secretary. The federal DOJ takes precedence over a state legislator. That's true. They find it offensive. I'm sorry, but that is true. I've spoken to the legislative leaders, and we agree that we're in the midst of dealing with a real pandemic. We have a lot going on, and we have to put the politics aside and move forward and have a more constructive dialogue. But I said to them, I'm not going to allow people to lie to the people of New York without answering them, because I'm not going to allow the grief to be aggravated. I'm not going to do that. I have a very thick skin. I don't know if you can see it. I don't really care what people say about me. I get politics. I agreed to this nasty business because I believe I can do good things. But I'm not going to let you do nasty and cruel things to New Yorkers. That goes against my oath, and that goes against who I am. I'm not going to let you lie to them. It's cruel to lie to a person who's looking for closure on the death of a loved one. And not only was it cruel to the grieving families, it's cruel to the public health professionals who dedicated their lives to public health service. I have public health officials here who could be making millions of dollars in the private sector. Millions. These are some of the best professionals you can find in this country. They are working 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. They don't deserve political attacks and unfounded, unscrupulous attacks. It was untrue, it was unfair. And also, you suggest to the people of the state of New York that they're not getting the best guidance? That's a lie. And you do it with no information, and you do it with no credential, and you do it with partisan politics. New York follows the science and the data.
They're really showing themselves to do really well. Come on, man.